Hey everybody, and welcome to Meals with Melissa, where I come up with great, healthier options for the foods that you love to eat, and sometimes just really good snacks because you need something that's healthy. So, really great recipe today. I have to admit, I've never been a huge fan of quinoa, unless it's made right and unless it has the right flavorings with it. So today I have a really great option for you. We are going to make Jalapeño Quinoa Bites. They are phenomenal. I've already made a batch, tested them on my family, and if I didn't have to have a batch to show you, they would be gone by now. So I want to thank my client who gave this to me. I will notate all of that down below. Not sure how she feels about me doing that. So anyway, great recipe, super, super simple. So a couple things that I've already done in advance, just so you know. I've already pre-made the quinoa just because there's a couple of steps to do with that. The great thing about quinoa is that it is a grain that is higher in protein, and not only that, but it is a resistant starch, which means if you cook it and cool it, it does not hit your blood sugar the same as other starches do. So it's a really great option if you still need and want to get some carbohydrates in your nutrition plan, but don't want to have something that raises your blood sugar. So super simple. I just bought something at the local store. Now you do want to rinse this before you cook it to get rid of any of the residue that's on it. So I just strained it and then with cold water and then cooked it. So just follow the package instructions. It was about 2 cups of either broth or water. I did kind of a combination to 1 cup of grain, just like rice, right? Okay, so made that in advance, so it made it super easy because you gotta cook it and then you gotta cool it in order to use this for this. So we're going to do a half batch. That's what I did earlier. I'm gonna make the second half of the batch. Now, I used a mini muffin tin, which actually worked out phenomenal because then they turn out to be these little bites that you can either use as a snack or take a certain amount of them with you as your food. Now, I am a huge proponent of batch cooking, and the reason why is because most of us don't have time to make 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. We all have jobs, we have children, we're now school teachers, you know, name it, we do all those things. If you cook them in advance, you are much more likely to actually eat healthy and to get it right. So yeah, otherwise we tend to hit the drive-through. So I used a mini tin. It makes not quite 24 of these mini muffins. So we're gonna spray a good batch of them and then we'll just see how far we get with the mix that we make. All right, now I am just using a pan spray, not my favorite, don't like the aerosols in it, but for what we're doing, it's really kind of difficult to butter or grease every little tin. So I'm just gonna spray those down really quick because you do want them to, now, and this is a nonstick pan, so it's not like, I just like to clean up and just, yeah, you know me. The easier it is, the better off we are. Okay, so already made the quinoa in advance last night. I'm gonna take about 1.5 cups cooked quinoa, okay? So, and again, it's kind of this interesting little grain if you've never had it before. It's kind of a bland grain, so obviously the spices and everything that you put with it will make the biggest difference, and that's why this is so good, because we're going to add cheese. So, now, this is coming from a girl who is completely lactose intolerant. I can handle a little bit of cheese, and so I love making something like this once in a while. Cheese doesn't tend to mess up my system like something like ice cream. Okay, I know I've got some massive light coming from outside over there. It's because there's snow on the ground at my house and somebody opened the blinds, and so it's a little bright this direction. Okay, so 1.5 cups of cooked quinoa, cooked and cooled quinoa. It's the cooled changes the chemical structure of the starch, and that's how it becomes a resistant starch, and again, doesn't hit your bloodstream as fast as sugar. All right, to that I'm going to add, I've got my recipe right here, again, it's totally up to you as to how much you add, but I've got about 1/2 cup of cut green onion. I used the other half for the first batch. I'm gonna put that in there along with about 1/4 cup of jalapeno pepper. Again, it depends on what you like. If you really like peppers, by all means, put more in it. Now, this recipe does add a little bit of bacon bits. Actually, I think it would be a great idea. The problem is I would need to find uncured bacon bits. The problem with cured is that, of course, now we've got some carcinogens in our protein source that I don't really want in my product or in my ingredients. So I didn't get that, but that I think after having made them and tried them, not a bad option. I think it would be really great. All right, to this, I'm going to add a clove of minced garlic. And of course, I'm gonna not really cheat, but I'm gonna take the shortcut. The one time where I'm okay with that, I'm gonna use the pre-made minced garlic. And so it's about 1/2 teaspoon equals 1 clove. And again, I don't mind if I add a little more than it calls for because I like garlic. That works for me. All right. So got that. Again, the great part is I don't have to actually mince it myself. All right, done with that. To that, I'm going to add 1 lightly beaten egg. Now, what I love about my eggs is they come straight from the chicken. not the store. Totally different. If you've ever had an actual straight farm to table egg, incredible. The yolks are so much darker orange. They have way more nutrients in them. They're fed differently than your store-bought egg chicken, right? Different farming style. So I don't know if you can see it in there, but it is phenomenally a different color. Okay, so I'm gonna beat that up, just to beat that up. That's what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna beat it up. I'm gonna beat that just a little bit so that it's already mixed. I'm gonna add that to my mix there along with some cream cheese. Now, not a huge fan of cream cheese myself. I will use a little bit of it, and so if you are lower carb, higher fat on your macronutrient plan, not a bad option, right? You know, a lot of times people who do a lot of keto tend to use a lot of cheeses, which is fine. Make sure if you're doing a lot of cheese on your plan that you are not doing processed cheese. And yes, there is a difference. So stay away from the Velveetas and the liquefied cheeses and all that. They're just not as good for you. Okay, I'm gonna throw that in there, just one beaten egg. And then I'm using about a third of an 8-ounce package of cream cheese cut in pieces. So again, you can use up to half. Again, I'm gonna include the recipe down below. Again, I don't like as much cream cheese. I prefer the Monterey Jack cheese that I'm gonna use. I'd rather use more of that. Okay, I'm just gonna put this in little pieces. That way it mixes a little bit better. You're gonna have to stir it for a minute because of course the cream cheese is pretty thick, so it doesn't incorporate the same. And I wanna make sure that it does get through the whole entire mix so that so every little bite actually gets a little bit of it. Okay, so put that in there, and I'm gonna add about 3/4 of a cup of Monterey Jack cheese. Again, you can use more or less as you choose. You can also add some different things. I actually don't really need to add any more salt because I am using the cheeses as well as I cooked my quinoa in chicken broth, and I don't use low sodium. Here's the deal. If you eat really super clean whole food, you actually need to add salt to your day because your electrolyte balance doesn't just require water, it is water, sodium, magnesium, potassium, calcium, and some trace minerals. So the problem is the standard American diet has a ton of sodium in it because anything that is processed probably has a whole lot of sodium in it. That is why we're told to eat less sodium. Okay. But that can actually lead to an imbalance of electrolytes. All right, so I'm gonna add the Monterey Jack cheese, and then I'm just gonna mix it. Again, that part's gonna take a minute, just because, see, I got my little lovely jalapeno. It's gonna take a second because I gotta really get everything incorporated. So that's probably what takes the longest time, is just getting it all mixed together. Then we're going to put it in our lovely little tin. The tin I got so long ago, but it's perfect. I've used it for so many different things. I wanna say it's a Pampered Chef tin that I got way, way back when I'm gonna say I probably had it for more than a decade. All right, so it's, like I said, it's gonna take a minute, and I'm gonna make a mess in the process because that's kind of how I roll. I do a really good job cleaning up when I'm done, I promise, because otherwise I get in trouble by the other people in my household that like to help clean. All right. So again, I definitely recommend some bacon bits in there. I think would just give it an extra little kick. And again, especially if you're adding bacon bits, you definitely don't need any extra salt. So I will be on the lookout for some, that, or you can cook your own. We do a lot of the Columbus uncured turkey bacon from Costco because it is, I just like it. The uncured, again, less carcinogens, because how your meat is processed is important. That's why we don't do a whole lot of deli meat at my house. All right, like I said, this is gonna take a second. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my tin, okay, and I'm actually gonna scoop about a tablespoon per the little tin there. So I'm gonna I made 21 with the last batch. I'm assuming that that's about what I'm gonna make. Again, I guess you can make them a little smaller, a little bigger. Then I'm gonna cook them in a 350 oven. I've already got it preheated for about 15 to 20 minutes. You just want the edges to be golden brown. I'm gonna show you in just a second what those are gonna look like. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a tablespoon, and I'm just gonna start scooping just about a tablespoon. It just becomes, like I said, it's a bite. I'm putting that in my little tin until they're all full. Then I'm gonna cook it for 15 to 20 minutes, again, until the edges are brown. And here's how they're going to look. And they're great. Like I said, they would be gone if I didn't need to show them to you. They turned out awesome. So I love getting recipes from you guys. So if you have something that works great, found it's just a healthier version of something that you love, you've tried it, your family loves it, pass it on. We want to share these recipes because I think it's become very difficult in this day and age to figure out what is healthy quick, convenient, and works for our schedules and our lifestyles. So there you go. I will include the recipe down below. Let me know what you think about it. You can comment below. You can also message me directly through Facebook Messenger. I do respond. So have an incredible day, you guys. And until next time, that is Meals with Melissa. Have a great day.